Hello, everybody. My name is Jarrid Trudeau. I'm the Executive Vice President for Kristoff Cigars. And what we wanted to do today, since you're probably not going to do it yourself, is take a perfectly good cigar, destroy it, and I'll show you a little bit about the bunching process. So this is our Tres Compadres, which is one of our newer SKUs that we just put out here. This is a Nicaraguan Puro. And the first thing I'm going to do is take apart the wrapper. So I'm going to take the wrapper off the cigar. It should come out off in kind of one composed leaf, except for the cap, which comes off kind of like that separately. You pull off the leaf and you can see how thin and delicate the wrapper actually is. And it's crazy to think of how much that actually contributes to the flavor of the cigar, but it really does. It's probably one of the most impactful, if not the most impactful components. So we take that off, then you have the binder and the filler. This is like kind of a blank, we would call it. So once we do this, I'll take off the binder. And again, this should come off because it's applied in one kind of consistent leaf. This should come off in one kind of fell swoop here. And you can see kind of one composed leaf as the binder. You can see how much rougher this is and how much veinier and kind of more toothy, I guess you would say, than the wrapper. The wrapper is much smoother, much higher quality. The binder is still a high quality tobacco. It's just a little bit rougher. It's from a different part of the tobacco plant. Then we get into the filler, and this is something that we do a little bit different. Other manufacturers also employ this technique, but many don't. And the bunching technique is called end-to-bar. End-to-bar bunching is basically rolling the filler components into lazy tubes. So that would look more like, and I already massacred this, but that would look more like taking the filler components, roll them into lazy tubes over each other. And then once you do that, you kind of have a bunch made up of a bunch of tubes, if that makes sense. And obviously the natural path for air through a cigar is much easier when you're drawing through a bunch of straws as it would be if you were drawing through a bunch of pages of a book. So I'll show you what that looks like with our filler. And so you can see as I unroll this, you see how everything is kind of rolled together. So you can see as I start to remove some of these different filler, and you can also see how many different colors there are. So when you see the different things in a filler, like so you see Nicaraguan, Dominican, that could be all number of things. It's very often or almost always very unspecific. So this could be Visa Jalapa, this could be whatever. It could be any number of things. And then one of the most important bits is the Ligero, which is generally in the center, which aids in combustion because it burns really slowly. So you can see as I start to take this apart, you can see they're complete leaves. This is when you hear a long filler cigar, that's what they're talking about. This is all composed leaves, the length of the cigar. And you can see how all of them, as I pull them out, are kind of rolled into their own little individual half circle or lazy tubes, right? So you can see how when you bunch a cigar put together this way, it would be much easier for you to draw air, see how much space there is and how much natural path for air, how much light you see out the other end, versus if I were to just kind of flat stack all this stuff together open. This is not my first job, by the way, is rolling cigars. But you can see how much less space for air there is in a bunch that's composed this way. So that, on its surface, is one thing Kristoff does that guarantees kind of a nice, smooth, open, even draw. And it's this end-to-bar technique is what makes our draw as good and consistent as it is. And that's bunching for you. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.